messenger is Brett Koon, and his title is "Waiting for Something Good to Happen is One of the Reasons Bad Things Keep Happening." Come on up.
Well, I hope I confused all of you with my title. Everybody has a little bit of a different take on what that means. I'm feeling a little quiet and reflective today. I had a funeral for my mom last week and thought I was kind of done, to be honest with you. She's been going through things for 2 or 3 years, and people would say, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I say, I'm good. And I really sincerely meant it. And then we've all had plenty of loss in our lives. I have confidence in that here in this group. We've all experienced that. But, and I got up this morning, and I really wasn't even thinking that much of Father's Day. And then I just remembered my sister, she passed. We had the funeral for her earlier this year. And I was thinking, my mom and my sister, they're the ones that call and wish me a happy Father's Day. And it just, I don't know why, it just hit me in a way that it hasn't hit me before. So I feel a little vulnerable, a little raw. And also, to be honest with you, with this title, I feel so empty. I truly don't know what's going to come out of me. My mind said, do you really have the right to speak on this? Do you really know about that? And I love the song of, I trust, and I'll spare you, I won't sing all of it there. But I love it, do I have trust and faith in the benevolent universe, to really, because that's what it comes down to, right? Anything that's going on in our life, to have trust and faith that what is needed will be provided for us. I have spent much of my life waiting for good things to happen, waiting for happiness, waiting for love, waiting for peace, waiting for more money, waiting for the right job. I mean, I really could just go on and on of how much time I've spent waiting. And with that said, I haven't lacked taking action. I've been a man of action, of going within for a long time. But even with that action, there's still that part of me that's still, it's a means to an end, right? I'm going to take action so I can get more love, I can get more peace. Now, that's fine. I don't have anything against that, and I'm grateful for the path that I've walked. But I also feel like with the serenity prayer to me is so beautiful, because it asks us to accept the things that we can't change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference between those things. And so in walking the path that I have, a long time ago I heard from Spirit very clearly in the morning, and it said, you can't possibly imagine how much good can come from awakening to the truth of who you are. And so I thought, well, what else is there to do? I just really need to awaken to the truth of who I am. And I love taking that on. I love that becoming part of my life, which has transformed in so many ways. But what's also true is, and I heard Muji say this one time, seeking is beautiful, but there comes a time that even the seeking has to go, because the seeking is waiting for something. It's looking to the future, and as if we are not already what we are looking for. I want to say that again. Seeking is beautiful and it's wonderful, but it leads us to this place when we have the recognition that we are everything that we have been looking for. By the way, I want to acknowledge my friends on Zoom too. I meant to do that, so thank you for being here as well. I'm grateful for my path. Yesterday, 2 days ago, and just with the whirlwind of things going on with my mom's passing, preparation for the funeral, and I did the eulogy for her, and also just, now we have the house and everything, everything that comes along with it. Again, I'm sure not telling most or all of you any of this as new, but just everything kind of spinning a little bit for me. And my boss, who is sometimes a crazy lunatic, and he will come unhinged about things that you're like, what? Are you kidding me? Well, he came unhinged a couple times this week, and I just really wasn't in the mood for holding the space for him to come unhinged. And in that moment, he drew me into my person. He drew me out of my heart and into my head, and I got on the defense mode, and I bit back. And I don't mind that. Actually, it's probably exactly what was needed. And we had intense words, as we did a couple days ago. And I don't know, that maybe this word's not the right word to say in the congregation, but I was just pissed. I was just so angry. And I did not hold anything back. And I just blasted him. Not because, I don't even know why. It was maybe partly in defending myself, but partly tired of the nonsense. And that's what I ended up saying to him 2 days ago. I'm right on the verge of giving you my notice right now. And I did actually a couple months ago, and he said, please stay. He said, you ground me, you help me be peaceful, you're my spiritual counselor, Yeah, that all went out the door, right? It all went out the door. And so I just said, I'm that close to giving my notice. Just, if you don't back off right now. He didn't back off. And I said, you have my 2 weeks notice. I'm not going to listen to any more of your nonsense anymore. And I had some explicatives that went along with it. And so I went home that night, and my son, Maverick, said to me, he said, how you doing, Dad? Just in his natural way of his love and concern for me, knowing that losing my mom has been a challenging thing. And I said, I'm okay. And I don't usually say I'm just okay, but I had been rattled. And I came home, and I had been pulled into, I want to say, my person, that idea of who I think I am, that the one where the opinions and the beliefs are there, not my heart. He had pulled me out of my heart. And so I started telling Maverick, and he had worked for him before, and he quit. My son is very quiet, but he quit in a very abrupt way, sending him a text like, just really laid into him because he had felt like he had enough. And so he understood everything that I was saying, and maybe was even happy that I'd gotten to this point, which took me maybe 6 months later than what he had gotten to. But I was feeling grumpy, and I woke up the next morning, yesterday morning, and I was just feeling grumpy. And I said, Father, I don't want to feel this way. Help me to come back to who I am. Help me to come back to my heart. And the first thing that came to me was, just forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. It's okay. Forgive yourself. So I forgave myself. And I realized, on some levels, there's nothing to forgive. At the core of who we are, the core doesn't blame or judge anybody. And in fact, A Course in Miracles says forgiveness is the only illusion that it supports. Why? Because there's so much power in forgiving yourself and forgiving others to bring you back to the core of who you are. And so in that moment, I forgave myself, and I said, it's okay, it's okay. And I also realized how much blaming I was doing of others. And so I thought of my boss, and I thought, it's okay. It's okay where he's at. It's okay where everybody's at. We're all just doing the best we can. Even though it might look crazy sometimes and we might not feel we're doing the best we can, we are doing the best we can. And one of my favorite verses out of the Bible is when Jesus is on the cross and he says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." They're not conscious. They're not aware. They're coming from their person, that limited truth of who they think they are, and they don't know how to be any other way. Right? They don't know how to be any other way. I realized that when my boss was yelling at me, there was part of me that was in awareness. And I'm just witnessing, I'm watching him. But I was also realizing afterwards where I was watching from, like what he's saying it's irrelevant. It's really irrelevant in so many ways, but I also want to say that it was relevant. It was relevant in the aspect that I wasn't listening to him. I wasn't really hearing him because it was like listening to Charlie Brown's teacher, right? It was like listening to that. And I realized that he wanted to be heard. There was something, there's a reason that he keeps repeating these things, because he's not feeling heard. So rather than, seeing him as Charlie Brown's teacher, can I see him as the beautiful truth of who he is that is beyond his stories, beyond his unconsciousness, beyond that part of him that is unaware, and forgive him, Father, for he knows not what he does. And so I got this beautiful gift to say, the next time, and there will be a next time, it's where he's at. There will be a next time. Can I look beyond the words and still connect with the beingness of who he is? That's where transformation happens. I trust in the benevolent universe, and that the words that need to come through, come through. My mind says, does this correlate to waiting for something good to happen? I don't know. I don't know. I want to say, I'm just tired of waiting for people to change, to fit the way my mind thinks they need to be. I'm tired of waiting for my wife to change in certain ways she needs to be. I'm tired of waiting when I get enough money, then everything will be okay. I'm tired of waiting when I stop eating so much sugar and I give up this so-called sugar addiction, then it will be okay. No, I don't want to wait anymore. The time is now. Eckhart Tolle caught my attention recently when he said, there's no longer the luxury of awakening to the truth of who we are. There's no longer that luxury. We don't have a choice. There are people that are transitioning left and right. If you follow Facebook or just hearing your friends, people are leaving at a really rapid rate. And Eckhart Tolle says, you are the new species. You are the new species that this awakening is leading to. And it's all beautiful. It's all beautiful, but look, it's okay to seek. And sometimes that's where we're at, and sometimes that's absolutely perfect. We need to seek until you get to the point to say, no, there's nothing left to seek. Muji says that you seek until the seeker gets swallowed up by the truth of who you are. Please hear that. And if you still want to seek and you don't feel you recognize or realize that very core truth of who you are, it's okay. Wherever you're at is perfect. You know, the people who get abused, you know, there's a stage for that where they have to come to terms to say it's not okay, and they set boundaries. And then you get to the point where you get out the anger, and then you get to the point of forgiveness, and then you get to the point where you say, I don't want to have any boundaries. I want to trust and have faith in the benevolent universe that everything is unfolding as it needs to, and I'm just going to give it all over and trust that everything is exactly the way it needs to be. See, we can wait. We can wait for COVID to end. We can wait for climate change to change. We can wait for all of those things. Let's acknowledge in this world, there's plenty of things that we could wait for. But it's all about the future. It's not about this moment that is here for each of us right now. This moment that has literally everything you need to be at peace, to be in your heart, to be in joy. You know, a friend of mine once said, this is a long time ago, he said, you have 90% of everything you want in your life. Why would you focus on the 10% you don't have? And it's so true. We're so blessed in so many ways. And look, we all turn our heads sometimes and say, I need this to be different. And I'm not saying you don't take action. It's a surrender prayer. Take action where you can. Make changes, but make it from that place rooted in your heart. Make it from that place that is in the present moment, that has everything you need. Everything. And when we sit in our hearts, and we just feel God's grace, God's love. And to me, God's grace is COVID. God's grace is climate change. God's grace is all these things that we've judged as bad or wrong in the world, that God's saying, look, I love you. I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm trying to give you what is needed to see where you're still in judgment, to see where you're not in harmony with life. That's all. It's all God's grace. Please see this, because when you see this, when you see that, you know, somebody that you love has passed and how it touches your heart and how grateful you feel to have spent those years. I'm just so grateful right now. I'm so grateful. I don't need anything to be any different than it is. I don't need my mom to be here anymore. My relationship has changed with her, but it's a beautiful relationship. And I also recognize that there's those times where I will step out of my heart and say, oh God, Mom, I wish you were here. Sis, I wish you were here. And it's okay. It's okay to acknowledge those things. It's okay to be aware. Be aware of how life can sometimes pull us out of our heart and into our heads where we are wanting things to be different than what they actually are. And I think one of the things Eckhart Tolle says is, he talks a lot about stress and suffering, but he says stress is being here but wanting to be there. Being here but wanting to be there. Where do you want to be? What is it in your life that you are waiting to change, waiting for it to happen? See, I'm just suggesting, I'm not saying you can't make the changes or even desire to make the changes, but I'm just saying, can you accept that this is what life has given? And it's here for a reason. And when you accept it, then the suffering can end. And you can come back to your heart and just say, thank you, Father, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving this to me. And now I'm ready to plant trees. I'm ready to take action. And I'm going to take action from that place that is the pure truth of who I am. because there's a lot of action taking place in the world that is out of fear, out of blame, and out of judgment. And I question how productive or if it's unproductive at many times. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the solution and not the problem. I don't know if I have anything else to say. Just how grateful I am for my life, and honestly, how grateful I am for all of you here. All of you helped me to be a better person. You helped me to just come back to that truth of who I am. And each time I come here, I drive an hour to come here because who cares about an hour? When you come here to share your heart, you come here to just be you. That's all that's needed. And we try so hard to live up to this idea of who we think we should be. And I'm inviting you right now to let go of that idea or those beliefs, those opinions of this is how you should be in the world. Just let it all go. Come back to that pure emptiness, that stillness that is here right now, that is you right now. All those thoughts that are coming in, let them come in. Don't fight them. Don't try to get rid of them. Just simply notice them and allow them to pass on by, knowing that you are beyond the thoughts. You are beyond the mind. You are beyond the body. You are rooted in the very essence of God. You are rooted in the very essence of love, of peace, of joy. You're not even rooted in it. You are that. But don't believe me. Don't believe me. You find it for yourself. You let go. Let go of all these ideas of who you have thought you are. And then when you have let go of all of it, then you see what remains. See what the only thing is you can never get rid of, and that is you. And you are enough. Thank you so much. Thank you.